Remember this story from a couple of days ago? Kind of disturbing, kind of disgusting. And the fact that they just really couldn't pin it down, right? That told you something about it. And it's like, it's such a fantastical claim. You think that, hey, if anybody could possibly name the person either responsible or provide any documentation, that would be incredibly helpful to lend credibility. And you know what? It might be able to just sway some people at one side or the other when it comes to the pro-life, pro-choice debate. But you couldn't. Okay, so it's like, did it ever happen? Well, maybe, potentially, especially with the developments that we've seen here right now. And it's like, okay, so you could find some sort of documentation because it looked like there was an ongoing investigation, okay, but why didn't you? Why didn't you just, you know what, fill in the blanks when it came to this stuff? It would give you a little bit of credibility at a time when this administration really doesn't have any. And you know why they didn't? An illegal immigrant arrested for raping a 10-year-old girl in Ohio. Oh, so it's somebody who you should have stopped at the border, and if you would have solved the border crisis, or you would have had Kamala Harris do something with her fucking position, might have been able to prevent somebody's life from being fucking ruined. Gershon Fuentes. I wonder if he's taller than the other Fuentes. Anyways, an illegal immigrant will not be held without bond, according to Franklin County Municipal Court Judge Cynthia Ebner. Let's go into this. A Columbus, Ohio man has been charged with impregnating a 10-year-old girl. Ugh. Why is that fucking cuck there as well? He probably heard this story and then just thought, oh boy, I wish I was the one that was inseminated. The story of the girl who traveled to Indiana to seek an abortion following the Roe v. Wade decision caught international attention, and it was on the receiving end of some scrutiny due to there being no charges laid in the case. Now we know why. The police say Gershon Fuentes, who lived in Columbus's northwest side, was arrested on Tuesday after he confessed to raping a child on at least two occasions. Oh, great. Wonderful. Fantastic. My hope for humanity is dying. Fuentes has been charged with felony rape. 2 counts? All right. According to Detective Jeffrey Hun, Columbus police were made aware of the young girl's pregnancy through a referral by Franklin County Children's Services. Ugh. The girl received an abortion at an Indianapolis facility, Hun said. The Columbus Dispatch reports that Hun also testified that DNA from the clinic in Indianapolis is being tested against samples from Fuentes, as well as the child's siblings to confirm contribution to the aborted fetus. So now, all of a sudden, you have all this documentation, which you probably had at the time you were making these claims, but you didn't want to mention, yeah, it was also done by an illegal immigrant. You know, once again, proving that old claim that Mexico's not sending their best. Kind of, once again, proving that Trump was right about more things than he'd care to ever admit. But hey, take a look at inflation. Oh, fuck, don't look at inflation either. Fuentes, an illegal immigrant, will not be held without bond, according to, Judge Ebner. Ebner said that a high bond was necessary. Yeah, no shit, especially if he out here raping kids. You shouldn't even bother with a bond, and the only bond that should be attributed to him comes at the end of a barrel, and that Fuentes is considered a flight risk. Yeah, because he has no ties to the United States, so fucking why not flee? Ebner set a $2 million bond for Fuentes, who is being held in Franklin County Jail. You could make an argument that under, unlawful confinement, Fifth Amendment? Fourth or Fifth Amendment? Oh right, he's an illegal alien, so he doesn't have any rights under the U.S. Constitution, so get fucked. Which you probably will in jail because you raped a 10-year-old, you fucking cretin. Again, don't even bother wasting the cot space, okay? He looks like a tiny little guy, so you could probably just stick him in the broom closet. But before we go, and to just pad things out just a little bit, okay, this is how I always see these stories, right? Where they're just openly debating, what is a woman? It just kind of, it's so stupid and fucking ridiculous, okay? Because you talk to an average person, okay? They aren't concerned about all this stuff, okay? Because they know what a woman is, okay? They don't use Latinx, they don't use birthing people, okay? But I understand on the horizon, you can see the generation that's being indoctrinated, and if you don't nip this in the bud right now, it's just going to be the next generation's whole Don't worry about all this, all these social justice talking points. They just stay in the university, and once they hit the real world, they'll just grow out of it. So I understand, and having to fight this stuff every single time you come across it, and then especially when you have it televised to a Senate committee hearing, and then you have Josh Hawley, called transphobic for framing abortion as a women's issue. The fuck are you talking about? Okay, Christ on ice. Because it wasn't that long ago where you couldn't have a now current Supreme Court justice couldn't define what a woman is, but you can definitely say to the contrary to a sitting U.S. senator that all women are women and all women should have access to abortions. Sorry, what? In a U.S. Senate hearing on Thursday. Today's Wednesday, though. Did I sleep for an entire day? I think that must be obvious misprint, or that was from a day before, but okay, whatever. Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley questioned a witness of her phrase, people with the capacity for pregnancy. Imagine that, right? You see some pretty young thing walking down the street, and it's like you just lean over to your boy, and you guys are just having a good time. You lean over, and it's like, ooh, that is a sexy person with a capacity for pregnancy. Oh, God. Islam is the way. Karia Bridges, a Berkeley Law Professor. Oh, okay. And author of Critical Race Theory, a primer. Great, wonderful, fantastic. Was one of the 5 panelists to testify in a hearing about the recent Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Of all the fucking things right now, they needed to convene a panel over this. Okay, what about the red flag laws that were just passed that are just clearly an affront to the Second Amendment? No, okay, let's just have a meeting about bad case law. Makes sense. Kahari Bridges, a Berkeley Law Professor, used the phrase, people with the capacity for pregnancy, 5 times in a single minute. Wow. Just like Mexico, Berkeley aren't sending their best. Senator Hawley asked Bridges for clarification on her choice of words, saying you referred to people with the capacity for pregnancy. Would that be a woman? Yeah, no, exactly. Bridges explained that besides a woman, transgender men and those who identify as non-binary are capable of pregnancy as well. Yeah, but we're talking about sex, not your made-up idea of gender, you fucking weirdo. But this ignores the properties that unite both transgender men and women who call themselves non-binary. Yes, crazy bitches and bitches alike can get pregnant. Oh God, of the former category, I don't want to see, because we're going to start seeing these kids pop up in the next, 10, 15 years, and I don't want to know what kind of an abomination that comes out as. Christ on ice. Just the hormonals, or rather the hormonal petri dish that is this offspring, and then having to reconcile the fact that, oh yes, when I was nursing you with my full beard, okay, just look over your degenerate family's photo album from back in the day. Christ almighty. These language games, coupled with the practice of pretending not to understand basic principles of reproduction, are becoming increasingly common among left-wing progressives. Yeah, exactly. And who are they broadening their appeal to whenever they do these just nonsensical claims? I don't understand it. I really don't, because politics is supposed to be a game where you're trying to attract more people to your side, okay? I don't know who this caters to. It panders to your base excellently, but who else does it appeal to? Not anybody abroad coming into the country through legal means. It gets a lot of views and likes on Twitter in some circles, and then it gets mocked and ridiculed in others, but I don't know, man. But anyways, Hawley does good work when it comes to these meaningless Senate panels. Let's be completely honest, right? At least he course corrected when it came to Ukraine. He was like, oh, I've spoken with Zelensky. He's a great guy. And then it's like, okay, why are we sending him so much money? So you're 1 for 1 on that. Or 1 and 1, sorry, 1 for 2. Proper terms. Hawley pressing, Bridges for more information asked, so this isn't really a women's rights issue. Gotcha! You can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing other groups. Nope, because women's rights issue deals specifically with women. There we go. Case fucking closed. Send a brainlet up there, get brainlet responses. Alright, so your view at the core of this is right, then, is about what? Hawley asked, referring to the long-held belief that abortion, a central pillar of the Democratic Party platform for decades, is a women's rights issue. No, it's a person's rights issue. Well, I'm never going to need an abortion. So what now? Rather than answer the question directly, Bridges went on offensive by deploying a common evasion tactic used by left-wing activists, saying, I want to recognize that your line of questioning is the transphobic shaming language immediately. Who hurt you? And it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing them. How so? How does it? Okay, by just saying, hey, it's a women's issue. No, it's a trans issue. Why is it a trans issue? You're being a bigot. What? His ploy attempts to shut down criticism by painting all who disagree with progressive ideology surrounding gender identity as transphobic and hateful. Oh no, it's anything else, right? Because you get labeled an ist or an obe if you don't march in lockstep with these fucking rainbow jackbooted cunts. Like, it makes no sense. So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender person, where are you coming up with this one? Okay, have attempted suicide. Bridges added. It's 1 in 4. Oh no, right, they got it right. That's 20%. So again, maybe it's a thing to do with transgender people. Okay, maybe they aren't exactly all fucking mentally there, because that's how many times more than just the general population. But okay. Alluding to false claims about the risk posed to transgender people for questioning the ideology of gender. No, exactly. There's a multitude of issues. Deep-seated regret, the constant misidentification of gender dysphoria, and not addressing their correct mental issues, or just over-medicating them, you know. But no, it's clearly those right-wing bigots that are causing all of these suicide attempts. Okay. Statistically and frequently misused by trans activists to manipulate parents and lawmakers into making rushed decisions to align with activists' goals on issues of sex and gender. No, that's just how they do everything. Everything's just think with your emotion and then just rush through legislation that we like. They do it with guns, they do it with free speech, and now they're just adopting that position for whatever trans ideology they want to talk about. Why won't you represent the 0.0004% of people that are out there? Because they're the 0.0004% of people out there. The exceptions to the rule don't make the rule. Bridges then dared Hawley to question the tenets of gender ideology by asking him directly, so you believe that men cannot get pregnant? No. I don't know what fucking W you think you're winning here. Okay. No, I don't think the men can get pregnant. What a bigot. Then you're denying that trans people exist. Are you retarded? She hyperbolically asserted, equating disagreeing with the concept of transgenderism with denying the existence. No, if there's a tranny in the room, there's a tranny in the room, right? You're there, you exist, okay? Now, whether or not you're a biological man or a woman is a completely and utterly different conversation we could potentially be having. But again, in my opinion and the opinion of most of the sane transgender community, when they go through all of these different procedures and all of these very invasive surgeries, okay, they want to be the gender or they want to be the sex that they're transitioning into. Most of them recognize the fact that, yeah, I was born with a dick or I was born with a cooch, okay? But now I'm the other thing, okay? Or they don't even go that far, okay? They're trying to become the other gender, hence the trans part, transitioning. If you want to play around in that sandbox of pan ideology and I'm a worm, I'm a fairy, I'm a 75 IQ idiot, all of these motherfuckers that are out here. After the hearing, Hawley took to Twitter to comment on the exchange. The Democrats say, what do they really think? Men can get pregnant, and if you disagree, you're transphobic and responsible for violence. Yeah, no, exactly. How many people do you think are going to catch a beating off the fact that Josh Hawley went, no, men can't get pregnant? I bet there's just probably tranny blood just flooding the streets right now. All of these people, Democrats are fucking sick individuals, okay? Anybody who holds up that banner at this point, you're a part of the problem, not a part of the solution. Okay, so get fucked. You're directly responsible for this insanity and then also the rape and impregnation of a 10-year-old by an illegal fucking alien instead of addressing the southern border crisis. Nah, you just want to have these worthless fucking Senate hearings just saying that men can get pregnant too. You don't live in reality, so why should we take you seriously? With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.